All right, good morning, everybody. We are off to a little bit of a late start, but I just wanted to touch base with you today. Today is Monday, January 29th. It is officially the last Monday in January, and then we're going to head off and go right into February, which is, um, I think, just amazing. And really, time is just flying by. I really can't believe it, but it's just the way it is. So I'm just setting up a little bit here. So a little bit different background today. I had a legislative breakfast at the DuPage County Forest Preserve District headquarters. And nowadays, since things are all portable, I have my laptop, and so I'm zooming to you from my laptop in their conference room. The map of the DuPage County Forest Preserve is behind me. As you know, the district that I represent has all four counties: Kane, Kendall, Will, and DuPage. And I represent Aurora is in DuPage, Naperville is in DuPage, and then also Oswego, which is in Kendall County, and then Montgomery, which is in Kendall and Kane County, and then a portion of Old Aurora, which is in Kane County. So Kane, Kendall, Will, and DuPage. So often I get legislative breakfast, lunch, dinners, legislative initiatives of our local governmental partners to talk about things with regards to Springfield. Springfield's coming up next week, February 6th. We're going to be in Springfield. The deadline to have all our bills filed is February 9th. So this week I'll be working with my staff at Springfield to make sure that a lot of our initiatives are coming out and being filed. So just a quick shout out to DuPage County Forest Preserve. They give us a lot of great information. Here's the visitor's guide. If you have not come out to any of the wonderful, wonderful amenities that the DuPage County Forest Preserve offers, I suggest you should. Attendance, we were told for last year in the DuPage County Forest Preserve was 5.5 million visitors, which is amazing. And about 1/8 of the county is forest preserve land. So the DuPage County Forest Preserve is doing a great job being good stewards of the taxpayer funds and maintaining and really providing a wonderful outdoor entity. At the peak of COVID, they had 6.8 million visitors. So you don't need COVID to go outside and enjoy nature. It has a lot of really rewarding properties to just be out there and experiencing all that our land and the ecosystems and nature has to offer with regards to mental health, de-stressing, getting some exercise, all good stuff, all good stuff. So remember our forest preserves. Last week, I was at the Illinois Association of Park Districts luncheon. Park districts and forest preserves go hand in hand. They work together quite well. And same amenities or similar amenities. Some of the park districts do a little bit more with regards to programming, but check both of them out. It's February. It's 40 degrees outside. So you can have a little bit of outdoor time. So January 29th, the 29th and the 30th, we have this week. At the end of this week, or actually on Thursday, so towards the end of this week is February 1st. February is Black History Month. So today's mug of the day is my travel mug because I'm traveling. I'm not in the office today, but this is my Juneteenth month. But for Black History, I brought it out today. And Black History Month, it's the annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. So it's known as African American History Month, and it actually grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Charles Woodson and other predominant African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devote a month to celebrate Black history. Now, this is a month to celebrate and recognize, but also we need to recognize the achievements all year long, just to make sure that we acknowledge and support the diverse culture, the many different facets of the United States, of the country that we live in. But so Black History Month is February. Now, because I am remote, I actually printed out all my notes for today. First of all, I'm sure many people out there were watching football yesterday. It looks like the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. So there might be some really happy people out there. There might be some so happy people out there. But at the end of the day, that's the Super Bowl lineup. And I hope that however you out there have fun with the Super Bowl or not watch it at all because they're not your teams. It's all good. But the Super Bowl is coming up. And if you watch the games, really good games, really great, some great plays that I'm not going to go into it right now, but really great time. So, what else? When we're talking about sports, as I have told you before, I have a local sports update that I've started bringing to you guys because I think local sports are kind of where it's at. These kids, high school, I did sports when I was in high school, and I'm just always amazed on these kids and their athletic abilities. So, Oswego High School, congratulations to the Oswego Co-op gymnastics team, conference champions, and also to the Panthers cheer team as they have qualified for the IHSA state finals. So I know that some people look at a cheer as just an offshoot, not really athletic. It is really athletic. I had a friend of mine whose daughter did cheer and she worked out all the time. It was really it really is a sport. And so really happy that they are on to the IHSA state finals. Aurora West basketball team, Aurora West. So technically, my district is the east side of Aurora, but we acknowledge good things all of Aurora West Aurora High School boys basketball. The Blackhawks beat a tough New Trier team on the road, 66 to 65, 1 point win. Congratulations to those guys. So as I said, next week we're back to Springfield, February 6th. Last week, we are doing, last week and this week, we are doing legislative updates. Organizations have been reaching out with priorities and issues for the session ahead. So we started the week meeting with the Will County Farm Bureau. Now, again, I have Will, Kane, Kendall, and DuPage. And so was worked with the Will County Farm Bureau. There's also meetings with the other farm bureaus. The other counties do have some farms in them. So we were talking in depth about some legislation that they are looking at with regards to farms, specifically factory farm, or specifically not factory farms, but family farms. Now, Illinois is an agricultural state. We have a lot of farms. A lot of them are still owned by families, multi-generational families. And what tends to happen, and I've looked at this a couple of years ago, is when an individual passes away who owns the farm and tries to pass on to their heirs, we do have a estate tax, which is anything under 4 million. But the problem is when they value the estate, they value all the acres of land, and sometimes that value goes above that $4 million. Now it's not liquid, so those individuals that realize this estate tax, they can't pay it without liquidating, and the only thing they have to liquidate is their acres. So now we're reducing the size of family farms, and individuals buying up these acres are corporate farms, and we would prefer not to have corporate farms and we'd like to preserve the family farms. So working with the farm bureaus, and there is an Illinois Farm Bureau as well that represents all the counties as well that we are working with in the state of Illinois. One of the things is to help with regards to that issue. There are several other issues with farms and runoff and those kind of concerns that farmers have. And again, we've talked about it before. Illinois is the #1 agricultural pumpkins in the nation, #2 in corn, and our soybeans go worldwide and are renowned worldwide for high quality soybeans, especially in the Asian market. So we have to protect our farmers and we have to work with our farmers. So with that, and then also I had a meeting with the Regional Transportation Authority. We discussed transit in Illinois. I know that some of these subject matters aren't really exciting, talking about trains and buses and how people get to and from places. The RTA's ridership on Metro is actually back up to about 1 million riders a day. So that has improved in terms of ridership, but um, the frequency and the, for lack of a better word, the habits of the riders have been different. So there's things to talk about with regards to that. With regards to infrastructure improvement, rail improvements, always kind of looking at, way back since I was an alderman, looking at transit train line from the Oswego Plano area there, and talking about RTA, talking about buses. Kendall County is not part of the RTA. The RTA gets a slight portion of sales tax to fund the buses and paratransit, the PACE buses that you see. And Kendall County has never participated in that, in part because Kendall County is kind of a split county. It's got a lot of residential on one end and a lot of rural and farm area on the other end. So the PACE bus would mostly be servicing the heavy populated areas, not the whole county as a whole. But I'm still looking at ways in which those residents can get properly served by the PACE buses if need be. They have the Kendall Area Transit that goes throughout the area there in Kendall County, which works well for the Kendall County residents as well. So those were meeting. Also met with the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, talking about their issues. As you know, and or you might not know, Illinois has one income tax. It's just statewide income tax. Back, I believe it was Governor Ogilvy, when they first instituted the statewide income tax, uh, they had an agreement with the local units of government that said that they would give a portion of the income tax to the local areas of government based on population. Because they didn't want an income tax on the county level. Like if you go to Indiana, they have an income tax on the county level, they have an income tax on the state level. Most people don't talk about that, but they do. They income tax you twice, two different levels of income tax depending on the unit of government. In Illinois, there's one income tax, and then a portion of the income tax goes to the local municipalities. Back in under Governor Quinn's tenure, it was a 10% off the top distribution to local governments. It's simple math. When Governor Quinn, this was before my time, Governor Quinn raised the income tax to 5%. What he did was proportionately lower the income tax share to municipalities. So it still equaled that 10% dollar amount before the income tax was raised. So it was almost like a hold harmless, if that makes sense. He kept them flat. So the local municipalities didn't get any additional revenue above when those income taxes were raised to 5% under the Quinn administration. Now, the Ron administration came in and the income tax was temporary. It fell to 3.75% from 5%. And then ensued the budget impasse and the $17 billion in unpaid bills that went up during the Ron administration because the federal government said that even if you don't have the money, because the income tax went down, we still had to pay federal services because about 90% of our budget is federally mandated programs or debt. So we just don't have a lot of flexibility in our budgets, believe it or not, about 10%. So the General Assembly then raised the income tax to 4.95%, but that prorated amount still goes to the local governments. And so the local governments come to us and ask for a little bit more. They'd like to get back up to 10% so they can ebb and flow along with the state. And so we talk about that. We talk about individuals that weaponize the FOIA system. So Freedom of Information Act. Pretty much it says that you have a right to know what your government's doing and you can file Freedom of Information Acts. Well, we have some individuals that like to file frivolous Freedom of Information Act requests. And if they don't like the way the school district is doing something. If they don't like a particular board member on a school district or municipality, they will file FOIA requests like going all the way back 10 years or for no apparent reason. So we're looking at that. Not sure quite what the solution is because you do have a right to know what your government's doing. But again, individuals should not have the right to waste resources, waste people's times, and be vindictive when they're utilizing that right. So working on that, and then had a great meeting with Oswego village officials and Oswego units of government. It was the school district, the park district, the fire protection district, the village of Oswego, the library board. So we had a great meeting with everybody with regards to Oswego, some of the initiatives with the village of Oswego. So that's what we do during this time between session weeks is really there is so many multiple facets to the state, whether it's local units of government, whether it's business initiatives, whether it's chamber of commerce. So we meet and try to talk with as many individuals before the session goes to see how we can improve and work legislatively with our partners. And so that's what we've been doing. One of the things I just want to share with you is I know that the migrant situation is on top of a lot of people's minds, and but I thought it was interesting. I want to thank the city of Chicago. They send out great information, and they let us know what's going on. Even though I am a suburban legislator, that they really keep us abreast of things, and I do appreciate that. One of the things I thought was interesting in the memo that they send out, and they send out a memo quite frequently, is well, a couple things. Donations. So there are avenues in which you can donate items and Cradles to Crayon is a local nonprofit that is taking gently used items, including clothing. So if you Google Cradles to Crayons, Chicago, you can find out a local drop-off location near you. And so they are working really hard to help those individuals. And then they're also working to rehome the asylum seekers, the migrants that are coming in, and they are partnering with, it's called the Chicago Furniture Bank. And so they provide, again, gently used furniture, and these are going into people's homes, so do not, just drop off junk. It should be in working condition. But the Chicago Furniture Bank, chicagofurniturebank.org, and you can look at how you can help if you're remodeling or if moving or just wanting to get rid of some items. So they give free furniture to Chicago's unhoused population to try to help them with their housing needs when they first get into a place. And again, you can do chicagofurniturebank.org. And you can schedule a pickup on their website, or you can drop off. They are located, if you're in the Chicago area or you feel motivated to go to the Chicago area, 4801 South Whipple Street in Chicago, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 is the donation drop-off schedule. So there are things that you can do to help out with regards to the individuals that are coming into our area. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting, just to give you an idea, again, the migrants that are coming in are asylum seekers. And under our laws, they are able to petition for asylum in the United States, given the circumstances. So they're here legally, going through the legal process in which they are coming in. But I wanted to share that the vast amount of individuals coming into the U.S. Seeking asylum are from Venezuela. Um, 11,000 individuals have been from Venezuela. So when we're thinking about individuals coming in, it's interesting to see the diversity of the countries that they're coming from. They're coming from, again, over 11,000 new arrivals were from Venezuela. And the second, over 600 new arrivals was from Colombia, and then Ecuador, Peru, Haiti, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Guatemala. So those are the new arrivals. Now, after Guatemala is Angola and then Mexico, and then Mauritania, Chile, Brazil, Cuba, and El Salvador. So when we're looking at individuals, they're coming from many different countries in South America. There are 10 or fewer, a small amount are coming from Morocco, the Philippines, Guinea, Costa Rica, Argentina, Bolivia, Congo, Dominican Republic, Belize, Russia, Panama, India, Turkey. So fewer than those. But again, there is a vast diversity in the individuals that are coming to seek asylum seekers. And I just wanted to share that with you that I realize that some individuals like to generalize, but they are coming from very different countries and they are coming with regards to um, our federal program of seeking asylum. Uh, the federal government has been working with work visas. These individuals do and can qualify for work visas with regards to their asylum seeking status. So, working with that, and our uh, federal government is working with the asylum seekers. They go to the federal courts that are in Chicago. There was a question raised why they are going to Chicago. The federal court systems are there. The systems that they need for asylum seekers are there. And I just wanted to touch base on that information that I thought was really interesting. Um, Legislation. So I filed a couple of pieces of legislation. It's come out of our Legislative Research Bureau, LRB, we call it. And one of them is non-traditional childcare. So talking with a lot of people, went to the trades conference last year when individuals have jobs where they have to leave the house by like 4:30 in the morning. They have to have some place to drop off their children early in the morning. They have to have some place for their children to be watched late at night. Of course, we have third shift workers, we have police, we have fire, tradesmen. Our snowplow guys were out in the middle, guys and gals were out in the middle of the night snow plowing. So definitely we need to have non-traditional hours for childcare. So working to provide some tax incentives from the Department of Commerce Economic Development Opportunity, DCO, to provide some additional funding, some tax incentives for non-traditional childcare hours for those that operate it. When we look at the United States as a whole, there are over 203,000, well, not as a whole, but when you look at Washington, D.C., they provide a lot of reports. And when you look at the report that's provided from us from the Urban Institute, over 203,000 Illinois children under the age of 6 have parents working non-traditional hours. That means they're working outside of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the week and on weekends. So, what sectors? I already mentioned a few, but hotels, retail, hospitals, also restaurants, entertainment venues. They also have non-traditional work hours. So, something to think about. So, we were looking at those with regard to maybe starting to have the conversation. I realize the governor has highlighted childcare as an important factor. And hopefully, working together, we can get a little bit more incentives for individuals to provide non-traditional hours of childcare for these individuals. And a second piece of legislation that we are filing becomes is titled like junk fees. They're hidden fees on transactions in Illinois. So you have a good and you want to buy it and you think you know one price and then you get the tax, which is fine. But then there's these hidden fees that are imposed that you don't know about. And California has passed a similar measure last year. And these hidden fees are a little bit deceptive and they pop on and they need to just be disclosed. So that we know what things cost and we know like what you're buying and which ones are fees. So it looks at we have mandatory fees, sales taxes and those kind of things, but then also looking at these hidden fees to disclose them and to make sure that individuals know what they're paying for and what the price of the good and service really does entail. So that's the second piece of legislation that's come out of LRB that we filed. Going to be working on a little bit more. If those of you don't know, it's tax season. I just talked about income tax a little bit ago. Illinois Department of Revenue announces the start of the 2024 income tax season. So tax season is here, and the Illinois Department of Revenue has begun accepting and processing the 2023 tax returns. So January 29th, it's today, so that you can start filing and accepting as early today. Obviously, you have a couple months until the end of the filing period, but you can work with the Illinois Department of Revenue's website. If you want to file electronically, it is free for you to do it. And it's called My Tax Illinois. It's an online program, and you can file your return with or without an account. And it's a simple question and answer format. So you'll be able to do it online without a charge. I know that some products do charge to file a state income tax. It's uniform for whichever state you live in, and they charge it in the state of Illinois. You can go to the Department of Revenue's website and file it for free. Now, again, disclosure, please consult any tax professional that you need to consult with regards to filing your taxes, but you can do it online for free. There are a couple things that are new this year. The earned income tax credit was increased this year to 20% of the federal earned income tax credit and expanded to include taxpayers 18 years of age or older with or without a qualifying child, and those 65 years of age or older without a qualifying child, and those with an IRS issued individual taxpayer identification number, ITIN. And then also you get a volunteer emergency worker credit. It's a new tax credit this year that's awarded to volunteer fire service emergency workers. They apply, they qualify, and are awarded the credit. It can be used to reduce the Illinois' individual income tax owed by up to $500. This is to support our first responders who oftentimes has to buy gear. As a volunteer firefighter, they have to buy gear and items out of their own pocket to help them out. Also, just so that you know, shifting gear from taxes to potholes, just because that's where it is on my sheet of notes here. Uh, Believe it or not, I have to take notes. I know it would be great if this was all coming directly from my memory, but I do have to take notes from time to time. But potholes, when you are driving on the interstates, please be aware that the Illinois Department of Transportation is advising the public that maintenance crews are out patrolling and repairing potholes. So please be careful, use caution, move over when you see those workers on the road. For those of you that need to know, the U.S. Department of Labor is currently holding more than $5 million in wages owed to more than 7,000 Illinois workers. And the department has launched a new website for individuals to return it. So you can claim unpaid wages using the Department of Labor website, dol.gov/agency/WHD/WOW. So currently, like I said, 5 million in wages is owed, and they just want to return it. I know some individuals don't like to go on websites. I know we talked about iCash before, and this is your money. So go on iCash with the treasurer's office, go on the Department of Labor's website. When an employee is underpaid for the work they do, the Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division can launch an investigation. And if it finds out that you are underpaid, they will get you back pay, get you the money you were supposed to get. So check out the website. It's something that not everybody knows about, but something that's really important that you should be aware of, or talk to individuals that may or may not be on that website. So if you're owed money, uh, you can still get it back. So the most common industries the department investigates and find unpaid wages are in restaurants, home health care, agriculture, and construction. So not that's not all of them, but that's the most of them. Switching over to 2024 as we close out January, the 2024 Organ Tissue Donor Program student poster contest is underway. So it's been underway. We're just wrapping up. Excuse me. So January 31st. So this is a little bit, you have a couple more days to get your submissions in. January 31, winners are invited to a poster unveiling ceremony at the Capitol Building in Springfield. The winners will receive a plaque and a $50 to $100 gift card. An overall winning poster will be selected and will be reprinted throughout all the schools, libraries, and driver and motor vehicle facilities throughout Illinois. Check out lifegoeson.com for more details. So you have a couple more days to submit that. Renewable tech companies are investing in Illinois and they are growing. So NextAmp, I think I talked about this before, is a solar energy industry major company. They intend to spend $2 billion, that's billion with a B, in Illinois for batteries. We talked about that, I believe like a week or two ago, but now they're just really getting the ground running. And then to go back, we look at Grutton's battery plant in Montino, Microlink Devices solar cell factory in Niles, Primsum's Group cable plant in DuQuoin, Manor Polymers new facility in Mount Vernon, and Whelan's copper plants around the state. So we are really making a dent and finding nationwide recognition with regards to um, renewable energies. So another good thing. Congratulations to Aurora University. They were awarded a $15 million grant by the Illinois Board of Higher Education. We give line items to the Illinois State Board of Education to award grants to independent colleges. And so the Independent College Capital Investment Grant Program that amount went to 45 institutions of higher education, and Aurora University was one of them. Congratulations. So DuPage Care Center, because we do have a small portion of DuPage County, DuPage Care Center has a fundraiser coming up for the community to send Valentine cards to center residents. Now, I know that our office works to send Valentine cards to those that are in the veteran homes, as well as other convalescent homes that are in the district. But this is also DuPage County that they are working with that. And it's a $5 donation, and you can send a balloon to a care center resident to spread cheer and warm wishes. Now, I know in our DuPage County facility, there is our good friend Willard Fruits, Korean War veteran. He led the prayer 2 years ago on the Illinois House floor. He's a great guy. So I'm going to send a little bit of cheer his way. But definitely you can go to dupagecounty.gov. So just I didn't say this earlier, but all these grants are coming to fruition because the state has a July 1 to June 30th fiscal year. So now we're about halfway through the year, and now these grants have gone through all the process and are being awarded. So that's why there's a lot of grants and funds in these reports that are coming to light. The Illinois EPA has announced that we're investing more than $66 million for water infrastructure loans to local governments and water districts, pretty much for the first half of fiscal year 2024, which I just said was July through December 2023. So this is a state revolving fund. It provides low interest loans, which fund wastewater, stormwater, and drinking water projects. So the state works collaboratively. I've said this before, collaboratively with the national government and collaboratively with our local governments as well on these big projects. And so wastewater and road repairs are all collaborative projects. And then the Illinois Department of Public Health is offering $2 million in training grants to improve reproductive health services. This is a first of its kind state-funded training to help out. You can certainly go to the Illinois Department of Public Health website to get information on that. Applications go through February 9th. Illinois payroll jobs increase. Unemployment rate for December was up a smidge. So overall, Illinois, we look at these as metrics with regards to the state, and so it looks like we're doing pretty good. Illinois Department of Transportation was awarded $7.1 million from the federal government this time to fix electric vehicle chargers that are available on state property. So available to the public statewide. And so the Federal Highway Administration Electric Vehicle Charger Reliability and Accessibility Program on the federal government helps support charging stations for electric vehicles. As more people have electric vehicles, we need more charging stations. And then we are going into our budget process. So right now when we look at like state funding for programs and we look at state funding for K through 12 programs, we've given $350 million every single year under the law that we passed in 2018. So when we're looking at things, we get analysis on whether these funds are enough or not. And the Illinois State Board of Education has put in a request that includes a $658 million increase for funding pre-K through 12. Now, these are requests, and we have to look at all of these requests equally throughout budget. There's a lot of competing interests and a lot of things that that certainly we need to look into. So certainly we're getting, like I said, a lot of requests. This is the budget making process. You need to balance all these requests with regards to other things that come through, early intervention services, domestic violence shelters, our funding for Medicaid, and the likes. And then finally on my list is the Veterans Home in LaSalle. Increase in COVID cases. There are 13 residents and 12 staff who have tested positive for COVID-19. Thankfully, all have mild symptoms. The residents have been offered the antiviral treatment. Nobody has been hospitalized. So COVID is still out there, folks, and you still got to be careful about it. I realize that it's a little bit not in the headlines all the time, but still out there. So we certainly most definitely have to be thoughtful and careful. So, and good morning to Bonnie and Gay. They're streaming in this morning. A couple other people are watching, not commenting, but good morning as well. A couple things I'll finish off with, and then I'll let you start your Monday. Or if you're watching this later on during the day, that's the beauty of Facebook Live. Is it still going to be there? It's still going to be there after work and whenever you can watch it or if you want to share it. So one of the things, and I just ran into the owner, believe it or not, last week, I believe, at the Oswego event, actually. I ran into him. My sister's Little Donut Shop. That's in Oswego. If you haven't been there, it's really a fun little donut shop. It's just really a great place to go in Oswego. But the Oswego Economic Development Commission Business of the Month for January awarded it to My Sister's Little Donut Shop. So in 2021, not too long ago, 2021, owners Bill and Maria Helgerson purchased the shop on Madison in downtown Oswego. So they do donuts and they do coffee. So so they have select coffee crafters there and pastries, donuts, coffee that is roasted using a clean hot air method. And if you haven't had their coffee, you should try it out. So 30 plus years as Oswego residents, Bill and Maria have impacted the community through their volunteer work. My Sister's Little Donut Shop is located at 25 South Madison Street in Oswego. They are also very generous. They donate donuts to many veterans events. And if you haven't checked them out, I suggest you should check them out. We also, just as a token, for your information, local journalism task force was created in 2022 under state law that found about 1/3 of Illinois counties have either no source of local news or just a single source. So Senator Sal Stadelman in Rockford says he plans to introduce a bill this season, including some of the task force's suggestions. What we are looking at is a mix of strategies intended to increase funding, mitigate high operational costs, and keep newsrooms local. That's important, and I often just try to tune into the Chicago local news. But when you get outside the Chicago market, like Senator Solomons in Rockford, he's in a different media market. Um, the news is really kind of hard to come by these days. So definitely we need to support our local news so that our residents are properly informed in a professional, nonpartisan way by our local news forces. And that's very, very important. We talked about all these reports that come across my desk, and I tell you about them whether you're interested in not or not. But Illinois receives mixed grades in the tobacco report. So you're like, how is there a tobacco report? There is a report for everything and anything in the state of Illinois. You will see. But so Illinois received 2 A grades and 2 failing marks in the recent review of state tobacco policies conducted by the American Lung Association. So what did we get an A in? We got an A in the smoke-free air category due to its 2008 passage of the Smoke-Free Illinois Act that bans smoking indoors. Illinois received an A for cessation services as services and medications that are available through Medicaid and other state programs for state employees. We also have a private insurance mandate with no surcharge limit to encourage people to quit smoking. The state received a C grade for taxation policies, a grade based on whether taxes are high enough to serve as a deterrent for tobacco use. Now, some of you might know we did raise the tobacco charge to fund some of the capital program, believe it or not. So what did we not do good on? Believe it or not. So the state received a failing grade for its lack of prevention funding. Illinois allocated around $14 million in fiscal year 2024 for prevention programs. Only 10% of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's recommended amount. Again, budgetary constraint. There's only so much funds that we can work with every budget year. So we got a failing grade on that. We also received a failing grade because Illinois has not banned flavored tobacco products. Now, this follows Attorney General Raul's letter to the Biden administration with 20 other attorney generals to advocate for a federal ban on menthol flavored tobacco products. So there is our tobacco report. Again, we get a lot of reports, a lot of things come across my desk with regards to the state of Illinois, and this is one of them. And then if you live in Kane County is holding 4 upcoming meetings to gather community input to draft their climate action plan, February 6th, 7th, 21st, and 24th. Go to kanecountyconnects.com. So let's just see. A couple other things that we are looking at, QR codes. Make sure that you are using a proper QR code. Now, QR codes are everywhere, and I use QR codes as well, but they are legitimate. However, malicious QR codes need to be recognized and not always used. So before you click on it, so if you see a QR code that's in an unexpected place, don't open it first. Look, I know it's hard because the camera pulls it up and then it shows the little redirect in a small box. But look at the UR code that you are going to. Now, you can always punch in the UR code. You don't always have to use a QR code. Don't scan any QR code if it's in an email or a text message that you weren't expecting. And then protect your phone accounts. Make sure you always update your phone's operating system. Along the same lines as scams is, and I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again, is Veteran Services. I mentioned it last week. Roger's on. Roger just got on. He's watching. He's a great veteran. You can get veteran services for free through your Veterans Commission on the county level or the Veteran Service Officer on state level. So if you see anything, if you're solicited anything, you get anything in the mail, reach out to them. They'll give you services for free. And there's a lot of scammers out there, so you need to be overly and extra vigilant. And then going back to electric vehicles, we talked about earlier before, the Village of Montgomery unveils a plan for electric vehicle readiness as well. So if you're a resident of Montgomery, you can go to montgomeryil.org and look at their electric vehicle readiness plan to make sure that you are well informed. And then congratulations to Aurora-based realtor and entrepreneur Sheena Baker for being awarded the Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board 2024 Leader of the Year. So every year they pick a leader, they have an event, and she is just an amazing person. She purchased her first home at the age of 19. She got a real estate license in 2006, and she has been a real estate investor, owns multiple units, as well as homeownership advocate who helps with workshops and helps people, engage homeownership. That's an important part of life. So congratulations, Leader of the Year Award. And this year, the Leader of the Year Award is being renamed after my dear friend who has passed away, Shakita Hart Burns Leader of the Year Award, in honor of this amazing woman, trailblazer Shakita Hart Burns, who left us far too soon. And she was a founding advisor of the Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board way back in the day. If you're interested in classes, again, these things come all across my desk. NAMI KDK, NAMI, National Association for Mental Illness, Kane County, Kendall County, and that's the KDK, Kane, DuPage, Kendall, is announcing 8-week family-to-family classes to begin Wednesday, February 21st. They are taught by family members of those with mental illness, education on what causes mental illness, what to do, treatments, and self-care, because, family members, they spend a lot of time with their loved ones who might have mental illness, but they also have to do some self-care too. It's very important. And so they talk about that too and much more. So if you want to look out to it, go to namikdk.org for more information. Where am I going to be at? Well, Friday, February 2nd, I'm going to be at the Resource Fair for Kane County Veterans. It's going to be in Batavia. So that's February 2nd at the Batavia Overseas VFW and Auxiliary 1197 Hall. 40 resources and a veterans business showcase with 18 veteran-owned businesses from 10 to 4. And then I'll be participating in a town hall gathering from 4:30 to 6, talking with VA Director Terry Prince and Hines VA Hospital Chief Dr. Michael Richardson. And if you're interested in chocolate, Downtown Oswego Chocolate Walk for Charity is on February 3rd. From 10 to 2, this is the 6th annual chocolate walk in Oswego, and it supports Casa Kendall County. And then throughout February, King County is offering free CPR classes, and I believe I talked about that last week as well. Now, just finishing up with a little bit of veteran info. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW Department of Illinois. So every VFW hall you see in your community works with the Illinois VFW. So, and the Illinois VFW works with us. And this follows through looking at, so one of it is Claim Shark Amendment. My good friend, Senator Porfino, he's a Navy veteran, is working on this on the Senate side, and working with this on the House side. Amending a current statute to find those taking illegal advantages of veterans accountable to penalties under the Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Business Act. So there's no bill number for that. But definitely, we need to do all we can to make sure that our veterans are not taken for granted or swindled out of benefits that they rightfully deserve. One of the other things that we're working on is I passed this last year. It's still in the Senate. Income tax exemption. We had to have clarifying language for our disabled veterans with regards to the homestead exemption um, that we passed 5 years ago. There had been some confusion with regards to the assessors. So we passed that out of the House last year. Hopefully it'll pass out of the Senate and go to the governor's office. Military funeral honors leave. So we have the Family Military Leave Act. So it changes the name to the Military Leave Act, and it provides that employee may use up to 8 hours per calendar month to participate in funeral honors detail, up to a total of 40 hours per calendar year. So what this is for volunteers, individuals that participate in military honors for funerals of our military veterans. Honors being flag and the rifle salute and taps. So this allows individuals 1 day per calendar month to participate in funeral honors detail, up to a total of 40 hours per calendar year, or more if authorized by the employer or provided for in a collective bargaining agreement. So it also gives requirements to take leave of funeral honors details and provides that employee that takes leave may do so in lieu of and without having exhausting his actual vacation leave, personal leave, compensated leave, or any other leave that may be granted to the employee. So this just gives the respect for our veterans that they should have, and allows for those who want to participate in, of course, burial details to be able to participate. We also have Senator Porfino is talking about service member attendance. So this is one that we're working with individuals that are reservists that serve in an elected official capacity, get called up, and sometimes they can't be physically present for a meeting. This allows an exemption that they can participate remotely, regardless of the circumstance, if they cannot physically attend because of performance of active military duty as a service member. And then we define active military duty and service member with regards to that. Again, that's my good friend, Senator Porfino in the Senate. Veterans Day Paid Leave Act to allow a veteran with a paid day off on Veterans Day. And then looking at Veterans Treatment Court and some expungement filings that can be done with regards to those individuals that go into Veterans Treatment Court, and help those individuals out. As we know that individuals that experience extreme trauma tend to self-medicate, tend to drink a little bit more, and do other things that is not always beneficial or good. It happens, and we understand that. This will allow for a petition of expungement at least 61 days before an anticipated dismissal of a case. And that if they successfully complete the diversion program and then the case gets dismissed, that they can work to have it expunged. We also are looking at legislation for a disabled veteran permit fee for veterans' home improvements due to disability. And then we are also looking at crimes against, excuse me, crimes against veterans, aggravated circumstance. So if a dependent committed an offense in or on the grounds of a hospital, ambulatory surgery, treatment center, physician's office, other mental facility that treats patients, and the offense was a crime of violence committed against a licensed healthcare professional, that we are looking of imposing a little bit more stringent crimes as an aggregating factor. So definitely that's something that we're looking at as well. And then finally, supporting our family caregivers through the Veteran Caregiver Benefit Act, and looking at other issues with regards to the Illinois Identification Card, and making sure that our veterans are well informed that they can get veteran on their driver's license, as well as those things. So those are coming from the state VFW and their legislative report. So with that, I will sign off and have a great day, a wonderful Monday. Have a great rest of the week. And next Monday will be February 5th, and we'll be heading down to Springfield. So take care, everybody. Be well, be safe. COVID's still out there. Have a great last Monday, fifth Monday of January. Take care, everybody.